Good evening. Welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Vishnu Shom. On the programme tonight, a diplomatic drama unfolds as Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif turns sycophant in the shadow of Donald Trump. At the Sharm el-Sheikh summit, Sharif lavished praise on the US President, nominating him yet again for a Nobel Peace Prize for averting an India-Pakistan nuclear crisis and brokering Gaza peace. Moves critics dub as being desperate bootlicking to lure American aid amidst Islamabad's economic freefall and its IMF woes. Trump reciprocated by dubbing Pakistan's Army Chief Asim Munir his favorite field marshal. The same Munir accused of plotting terror strikes against India, including the deadly Pahalgam attack earlier this year. Sharif's fawning, complete with podium flattery and offers of strategic ports, has sparked outrage. Is this Pakistan's ploy to thaw frosty US ties post the Biden isolation? The ripples were felt in Delhi. The opposition Congress unleashed an attack on the BJP, slamming it as a catastrophic foreign policy failure. In fiery ex-posts and statements, leaders like Jairam Ramesh declared that Trump's cozying up to Munir exposes Modi's diplomacy in tatters. India isolated, hyphenated with Pakistan, while our all-weather friends drift away. They point to Trump's repeated claims of mediating the India-Pak ceasefire as a humiliating blow to bilateralism. But some in the BJP have fired back, accusing the Congress of peddling pro-Pakistan narratives and undermining national security. As Trump's America First reshapes alliances, has India's strategic edge dulled? Why is Pakistan repeatedly nominating Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize to secure US aid and to counterbalance countries? Is that what this is all about? First, listen in on what Trump told Shehbaz Sharif and how he responded.
Pakistan and India are going to live very nicely together, right? 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 That's not a very, they are. And they're two great, I tell you, leaders, great leaders, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, joining us now, Dr. Tara Kartha, Sushant Sareen, Brajesh Kalapa of the Congress, and Ranbir Singh Pathania, BJP MLA. Thanks very much for being with us. Brajesh, let me come to you first. How is this necessarily a failure of Indian policy? Donald Trump says different things at different times of the day.
No, I appreciate that he does say different things at different times of the day. And this was not something which India was complaining about during his first term in office. Even at that time, Mr. Trump spoke, rather in a funny manner. But at that time, perhaps Mr. Modi assumed that the relationship was far too deep with Trump, and he had also endorsed him in the United States and in India for US presidentship, which something which no Indian leader has ever done before, and nor should he do. But Mr. Modi did something which was unprecedented, and according to me, I think it was highly destructive, which the effect of which we are seeing today. Now, what is happening today is, Vishnu, I think it's a matter of great concern for all of us, is that this is happening in the aftermath of Pahalgam, when 26 people were killed by terrorists, and India was supposed to launch its biggest attack on Pakistan to teach Pakistan a lesson that they will never forget. But today we find that Pakistan is safely sandwiched between two of the great nations or great powers of the world, which are China and America, and seem to be on very, very cozy terms with both these countries. And India, which had made very grandiose claims of being Vishwaguru and so on and so forth, today finds itself isolated. They didn't even send somebody of some eminence to Sharm el-Sheikh. And we find that we have sent a junior foreign minister who has obviously not been noticed. I don't think Mr. Trump even found out about
they did shake hands. I take your point, but let me get a response, Brajesh. Let me get a response from Ranbir Singh Pathania. Mr. Pathania, it is a fact that the US appears to have once again hyphenated India and Pakistan. You will not catch Donald Trump talking about Pakistan without talking about India. We have fought very hard to have it dehyphenated, but it's back again. Has that relationship been suffering?
I think now
Yes,
audible,
please
Vishnu?
go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, yes, Vishnu. I'm directly coming to it. So I think I need to divide my version of the entire story into two parts. First of all, the way Mr. Donald Trump, the respected and the honorable President of the United States of America, has tried to wade the murky water, as you said, hyphenated and dehyphenated the Indo-Pakistan issue. I was part of a national legislators conference in Boston and said it on the US soil that whatsoever has been said by your highest office, first of all, you said it wasn't 1,000-year dispute. Jammu and Kashmir is not 1,000 years old. Once Maharaja was coronated in the year 1821 and 31, and then ultimately Jammu and Kashmir came into existence. One part. And secondly, that was not at all a war. That was a calibrated response of Bharat with regard to acts of terror by certain specified elements on the Indian soil. One part. And secondly, which is most important, the way opposition has tried to make hay, my very, very respectful submission, on security, strategic, and especially foreign policy issues also. So this is whatsoever Mr. Trump has said. This is just an off-the-cuff remark. We could call it as a generic comment. This is not at all a policy shift.
All right, it's an off-the-cuff remark.
It's an off-the-cuff remark.
Okay.
So nothing to make hay out of it, nothing to blow it out of proportion.
All right. Okay. You say the Congress is blowing things out of proportion. Let me go back to Sushant. In fact, on this, what struck me, Sushant, the most was this simpering attitude of the Pakistani Prime Minister to Donald Trump. I just found that bizarre. When asked whether India and Pakistan could live in peace together, he sort of bowed his head in almost servitude, nodded it repeatedly. What does it say about him as a leader? In fact, I found this amusing.
Shiv, to be quite honest,
Vishnu. Shiv is another part of the pantheon. He's not here today.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So Vishnu, look, that entire stage was so cringe that it's unbelievable, and I'm so happy that the Prime Minister of India didn't go and demean our country out there. The way Trump was not just, I'll come to the Pakistanis, but the so-called global powers, the kind of obsequiousness and servility they were showing, it is shocking. I don't think any of us on your show today have ever seen scenes like this. The way this guy was talking, nobody talks like this in diplomatic forums. So I'm very happy that we were represented by a junior level minister. And I certainly don't think any Indian Prime Minister should have gone to such a cringe show. Having said that, on the Pakistani thing, look, the way I look at it is that he's instructing the Pakistani that you learn to live in peace with India, right? But look, as far as Pakistan is concerned and the way Shahbaz Sharif behaved, in Punjab, especially among Pakistani Punjabi Muslims, very often it is said that the basic code by which, especially, and I think Shahbaz Sharif is emblematic of that, कि इज्जत तो आनी जानी चीज है, आदमी को बेगैरत होना चाहिए. So this is what Shahbaz Sharif is doing. The way he was cringing before him, and he is accomplished in doing this. He does it with Asim Munir, he does it with Nawaz Sharif, he does it to Maryam Nawaz Sharif, he does it to anybody who has any amount of power. So this is Shahbaz Sharif. Now, unless it's somebody's case that Indian leadership should be doing something similar so that Trump is well disposed towards us, I don't see how that works. One last point. We keep talking about that we have been hyphenated with Pakistan, Number one, this whole hyphenation and dehyphenation word is utterly nonsensical in international relations. But more importantly, if anything has happened, I think we have been dehyphenated from Pakistan. The Americans are dealing with the Pakistanis at one level. They are dealing, whatever their dealings with us are, at another level. And the dealings with us are not very nice right now because we are showing more spine than many of the other countries have shown. I think apart from the Chinese, the Brazilians and us, and of course the Russians, I can't think of any other country which has actually shown any spine to Donald Trump.
All right, standing up to Donald Trump. Tara, let me come to you next. It is, however, true that Pakistan is rolling out the red carpet for Trump. They do believe that there is a transactional relationship which they can secure, whether it's access to Pakistani ports or the construction of a new one, to rare earths, available in Pakistan, which Shehbaz Sharif went to the White House, he opened a box and said, look, these are rare earths from Pakistan. It just seems that Pakistan is going, all the way in placating Donald Trump. Do you really believe that they would gain something out of this?
Well, as of now, what they've got is a massive protest inside the country as a result of their so-called peace plan support to Trump in Gaza. That TLP is basically saying no to any Gaza peace process at a time when the Gaza themselves are celebrating. TLP has for years been that's a different story. It's been a tool of the military. Whenever it doesn't want to do something, it unleashes the TLP. So that is one part of it. Second is this rare earths, which I keep hearing about. I mean, where is it hidden so well that for all these years, we never found it? I mean, China is all over the place, right? So it must be like I tweeted, maybe we've got rare earths in my backyard. I mean, where is this rare earths? Number 3 is that smirking which you just saw in terms of what, that comical thing of Shehbaz Sharif on the stage shows you exactly where Pakistan is. It is, somebody said sandwiched, it is sandwiched. It is got, it is trying desperately to try and get China to get the US. Now it's at war with Afghanistan. I wouldn't like to be in that place where Shehbaz Sharif is right now.
All right. Let's just hold on, Tara. I want to listen to a little bit more about what was actually said by Donald Trump and Shehbaz Sharif. Let's take a look.
Prime Minister Sharif of Pakistan, and also I have to say my favorite field marshal from Pakistan, who's not here, but the Prime Minister is here, and you're going to give his regards. Where are you? There you go. Thank you very much.
Peace has been achieved after untiring efforts led by President Trump, who is genuinely a man of peace. Pakistan had nominated President Donald Trump for Nobel Peace Prize for his outstanding, extraordinary contributions to first stop war between India and Pakistan, and then achieve ceasefire along with his very wonderful team.
Let me just briefly come back to you before I go back to Brajesh. My question is very specific, and please answer a very specific question. What were the leaders behind Shehbaz Sharif, from Keir Starmer to Meloni and the others, thinking when Shehbaz Sharif was on stage over there, paying homage to the US president? What were they thinking?
I think what Meloni was thinking...
One sec, let me go to Sushant first and then I'll come to you. Yeah, go ahead, Sushant.
Vishnu, I can't hazard a guess what they were thinking. I'm thinking what other leaders were thinking when Trump was addressing people like Keir Starmer. Have you ever seen, an empire where the sun never set, a representative of that country, the leader of that country, being treated like, you would normally treat some junior journalist in your office very patronizingly? That's the whole show. But just allow me half a minute to talk about this rare earths thing. 2 things have happened. One, there is a report in the BBC, the Urdu BBC, that gift which they were presenting to Donald Trump, they were not rare earth materials that had been procured from Pakistan. They had bought that from the market, packaged it and presented it to Donald Trump. Now, do you want a country like India to do something?
So this was a show and tell.
One more thing.
That Mr. Trump, this is a show and tell.
What we'll give you. But remember, the Chinese have now clamped down on Pakistani exports of rare earths to the United States. They've said we are not going to give you machinery, end user agreements have been signed. And so and there's no way the Pakistanis, they cannot produce anything anyways, apart from their biggest export these days is donkeys. I don't see what they are going to do, how they are going to take out the rare earths, assuming there are any rare earths out there.
Okay. Mr. Kalapa, you've got a sense of the opinions over here. Is it not a bit of a stretch for the Congress party to say that, Trump saying whatever he has to say to Shehbaz Sharif and Asim Munir is somehow a reflection of India's foreign policy. India's, I mean, as Sushant was mentioning, has actually, or Tara was mentioning, they both, you know, I mean, we've actually stood up to America in so many ways. We still don't have a trade deal. We've been sanctioned by them. We continue to import Russian oil. We continue to import Russian weaponry and say we're going to import more of that. So are we not standing up for our autonomy, which is what we should be doing?
Vishnu, I think the first thing is that India must prevail. I don't care, what happens, whether Mr. Modi has to, do chaploosi to Trump, or has to stand up to Trump, or has to do chaploosi to anybody else, like Shahbaz Sharif was doing today. Honestly, as an Indian, I'd like India to prevail at all times, right? And whether Mr. Modi did chaploosi earlier when Trump, treated him with some respect, or he's not doing something, honestly, it just doesn't matter, because there are so many things stated, there are so many things unstated. While countries and nations deal with each other, while leaders of nations deal with each other, right? And there are several things we may know, there are several things we may not know. Point is that each one of us as Indians, we feel that we are not in a position where we are prevailing. And this is a matter of concern for each one of us.
Okay.
And I think there's a serial which goes around which says, "Ye rishta kya kehlata hai?" I think this is a problem that we are all facing as Indians, that where exactly are we now? Because we are neither with China, we are neither with America. Who are we with? I mean, how are we going to prevail if we are not with the top nations of the world, which Mr. Modi himself claimed?
Ranveer Singh Patania, answer that question. Is India increasingly isolated and not quite the global power we believe that we are?
Absolutely not. Because the Indian foreign policy, this is an institutionally guided phenomenon. It's a result of the conglomerate of what MEA plans, what National Security Council plans, and what diplomatic corps plan. So far as investment flows, defense partnerships, trade deals, and global investments, India is on a high time. India is having on the top of the crest. So there are some issues which India needs to address. I don't join the issue with my learned friend. We need to take care of, we need to address in the near future. And I'm much hopeful that India is doing it more effectively, more strategically, and with its ears and eyes close to the ground. But my very, very sweet and a simple suggestion to certain takers from this Pakistan, the so-called Pakistan, and this Asim Munir and Mr. Donald Trump on hobby, that Pakistan needs to take care of Balochistan. They need to take care of human rights violations in Jammu and Kashmir. They need to prop up their economy. Such show businesses and such gimmickries would not yield any result. And we also should not be much scared and much concerned about such gimmickries, because India is a new India. This is under the dynamic leadership of Narendra Modi ji, under the dynamic leadership of the phenomenal Foreign Minister of India. We are with every day in and day out.
All right. Okay. So all right. You don't believe that India is isolated. I'm out of time. I take your point. For me, another takeaway of that entire thing was the expression on the Italian Prime Minister Meloni's face. She was aghast for a variety of reasons, but she was also aghast not just because of Trump's comments to her, but also perhaps when she saw what Shahbaz Sharif was doing. She was right behind him. So I would suggest you go and watch what she was doing at that stage. She was covering her face. We leave it over there. Thank you all very much for being with us.